So we'll go ahead and start to share a few useful things about Unreal. We're going to move pretty fast. So as always, we just encourage people to watch the replay, slow down on any slides that we kind of whiz by, but we hope this will be useful to you. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
That one. Great. Okay. Can you all see this okay?
Perfect. Yes.
Great. Okay, so just a very brief introduction to Agile Lens. We're an XR studio based in New York City. We do a wide range of different projects across enterprise and more consumer-facing things. Kind of the two poles of what we get involved with is live entertainment. We've got our annual production of Christmas Carol happening now, xmascarolvr.com for free tickets. And then we do like crazy luxury real estate with photorealistic ray-traced wireless multiplayer, 5,000 square foot spaces, and everything in between. And as mentioned, we do a lot of stuff with Unreal Engine. So June, would you like to go over some of what we'll be covering today?
Yeah, so we are going to separate into 4 parts. The first part is about preparing your project inside Unreal. And I mean, because a lot of things from Unreal side is not set up already. Like we have to look for like the correct APK, the correct NDK, SDK, and all the settings to even package a roundable APK on MetaQuest. So we're going to go over that part. That is all before we try to upload to Meta platforms. And now then the next part, we will just very briefly go to Meta Dev Dashboard. I believe Fabian already covered a lot of that in the previous session. So we're just going to quickly fly by those to get the information like the API and stuff we need from there. And then we will go cover how to upload to Meta platform. So for an Unreal, we have 3 different ways. We can either use MetaQuest Developer Hub or CLI. And the third thing that is different from the Unity side is we can also do it from inside Unreal. I guess we can also do it from inside Unity, but that's just like a slightly different interface. And we will also cover how to prepare the build to upload to Meta platform. There will be some differences between shipping build and development build, and the APK and OBB size there are some limitations on that side. And we will also share a little bit of additional information that we found during our development process. So,
Yeah, I'll just mention briefly. So there's a few different ways you can go about setting up your project. There's the Meta plugin for Unreal. So you get that from Meta's website, and that can just be downloaded and added like any other plugin for Unreal, which for those who are more familiar with Unity, it's kind of like the package manager. It's this thing that can be enabled or disabled on a per project basis. The Meta fork can be really useful because there are certain capabilities that Meta can provide for their headsets for Unreal Engine only if you're using their particular fork of Unreal Engine. So their own custom source build, things like application space warp, ASW, as well as dynamic resolution have been relegated to the fork of Unreal Engine, though that is opening up in a couple different ways. The Meta XR plugin moving forward is trying to incorporate more of the things that previously you could only do with the Meta fork. And then also on the Unreal Engine side, some of this is getting put more in the general OpenXR box. So there is now, as of Unreal Engine 5.7, a method of doing application space warp that does not require Meta's fork or even Meta's plugin at all. And then, of course, we can package for Android from Android Studio directly. You can, do everything from Unreal and then kind of pick up the ball from there over in Android Studio. And then, of course, once you have your APK, you can be side loading via things like SideQuest or MetaQuest Developer Hub, any ADB commands you might be familiar with. And yeah.
Yeah, so for preparing your build, so we can for using Unreal, we can either use Meta plugin or a Meta fork, but we need either of it. We need at least one to be able to even package an APK that is runnable on Quest. That is as far as 5.6. It is still true. It might change in the future, but as of right now, I think before in 4.27, we just need like OpenXR and some other things, but Meta XR was not necessary, but it is now
at the moment.
Yeah, and so we don't really have time to cover everything here, but there are some pros and cons of using Meta plugin versus Meta fork. Meta fork has more features. Sometimes it's less reliable, like the movable light was broken in a lot of Meta fork versions. But yeah, Meta plugin, you can use it with any version, any compatible versions of Unreal. So if you have your own source build, you can maybe consider using Meta plugin. It probably would be easier than try to merge both fork. And for a package for Android, we're also going to quickly fly this. If you have experience building Android mobile app before on Unreal, you probably already have a lot of these covered. But for Unreal, every version is different, and these is a combination we tried and it succeeded in from 5.2 to 5.6 that we can package and run it on MetaQuest. So yeah, Android Studio, NetCore, Java JDK 18, Visual Studio 2022, and also like every version of these are very specific. If you use Android Studio 4.1, it might not work.
Yeah.
Or 4.0 beta, if they are different. So these are all the tabs. Once you install Android Studio, you need to go into it and check these boxes and uncheck everything else. And we are just going to quickly fly by these.
Yeah.
Like these specific versions and these specific one, and remember
For the NDK.
Everything else.
Just real quick note for 5.7, you can't use this NDK. You have to upgrade to 27 dot something something something.
Yeah, this is only good through till 5.6.
Yeah.
But from 5.2 to 5.6, they are all the same. So still a useful combination 8.0. So after you set everything up in Android Studio, we still have to do something inside our computer to change the environment variable for Java home from whatever it was to this one. And we have to run the setup Android bat. It is working, but we also do need to change just one thing here to 8.0 or like the version you're using to run it correctly. And then we run the batch file, and then it would work for Unreal.
Like
Everything
magic.
would be set up. And then inside Unreal, we have to look for two tabs here, Android and Android SDK. For Android tab, it is the same place we set up our Android package name. And as Fabian mentioned, this name, once we submit it to AppLab once, that will be forever there unless we kill the app and recreate a new one.
So don't call it testy testy fun time test.
Yeah. And like the store version needs to be specific, and we will go into more detail when we go to the upload to Meta Platform part. But then there's also a application display name. It actually doesn't do much when we're uploading it to Meta Platform. But if you're just siloed it to like Google Android phone or something, that would be the name you see on your device. And for minimum SDK version and target SDK version, it would also be, it would both be 32 for now for Quest, or at least 32.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And install location needs to be local, it needs to be auto. If it's something else, when we upload to platform, it would throw an error.
Oh, and do we have package inside APK on a slide?
What do you mean package? Oh,
it's
in a
keep
different,
All right, keep
different part.
Yes.
So, and package for Android, we need to make sure everything here is set up correctly, but you only need to set it up once in, like say if you're using Unreal 5.4, you set it once in one project. For every other Unreal 5.4 project, it will use the same setting.
Which can be dangerous, of course, if you go to 5.7 and now you need to change the NDK, because you'll change it in here in 5.7, and then all your older versions will now no longer package correctly because they're using too new of an NDK. There is also a project-specific place where you can start to do this, but it's a little fiddly to make sure you're always using the right versions of everything.
So now this is all like before we upload to the Meta platform. Before that, always recommend to test it. And there are two ways to silo to headset, multiple ways. There are
thousands of
ways we use the most. MetaQuest Developer Hub is really useful, and especially useful when you have an OBB with it. If you're using SideQuest, you have to manually put the OBB into a separate OBB folder, or sometimes you have to create the OBB folder yourself. But SideQuest sometimes is more straightforward than MetaQuest Developer Hub. Like some of the app, if you have it in your app lab and you also try to silo it, sometimes it doesn't show up in it because it thinks it's something internal. You install it from the store. You cannot also manually remove it. But in SideQuest, you just show everything there.
Yeah. We also have a batch file that gets created when you package an APK, and most of the time that will work as well for installing.
Yeah. So now we go to the dashboard. This is the dashboard. That is the place we can change different organizations. So if sometimes you cannot find your app, maybe it's in a different organization.
You can see that bottom row, we've got lots of like action required, like you haven't fulfilled the correct, read this new thing or agree to these new terms.
Some of those are just like we haven't touched them for 90
Yeah,
days.
exactly. They're just old. They're too old.
We have like multiple organizations, and if you want to create a new app, that's the green button. And when you create a new app, you can choose either to be a Meta Horizon store or the PC VR app. If it's a PC VR app, it will be called a Rift.
Yeah,
For some
still called Rift, all these years later.
Yeah, and then going to our app, once we created an app, you will have like a page like this. And inside it, we were just going to find our API. The API will be under development and API, and that's where you can find your app ID, app secret, and app credentials. I think we probably actually only going to use app ID and app secret the most, unless you're using like Epic Store or some other things. You want to get the login credential from the app, or like you want to connect different platforms. That's when we will use like other IDs and tokens.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're trying to have an app that works on the MetaQuest store and the Epic Game Store and Steam, and these all need to like talk to each other. But for now, we're okay.
Like if you're using for Unreal, I think a place I use it the most is for EOS sessions. If you want
Epic Online Services.
If you want to create EOS sessions, you want to just for people to just use your Oculus ID to log in, then we will need something here, and I actually forgot which, but that's the page. Now we upload to Meta platform. So we already had the development build, we tested out, and now we are trying to make a build that we can push to Meta platform. So a couple notes here, make sure it's a shipping build, make sure it has the correct app signing, have the key store, and also the key store, once we have it once and we push it once, we need to continue to use the same key store, so don't lose it. And remember to push it if you're using version control.
Yeah, and it's easy to lose the key store because it goes in, is it the build folder or the binaries folder? And a lot of times that won't be pushed automatically by GitHub or source control. And it's one of those folders that a lot of times people will clear out to save space. So yeah, don't lose your key store file.
Yeah, and for APK and OBB, if you're using just like side loading, there's no limit. Of course, you can just package everything in your huge APKs. It's just easier to side load at once. But for uploading, there is like size limitation, and we will go over it later. And also make sure there's a unique app version code and it has a consistent app name and add the correct app ID inside default engine INI.
Right.
So these are all the details inside. Shipping build is on the right part. You can see we have to check for distribution.
We forget that all the time.
And shipping.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Meta will complain about it. And key store, make sure you put the key store inside build and inside Android.
Yes.
The first time you build it, there is not that folder existed. So you have to you either have to build the development build
and
first.
Then fail, or
or build the shipping build and failed.
And then put it
in.
Yeah.
And the key store, you have to make sure the key store information you put inside distribution signing inside Unreal project setting is the same as the key store you actually generated. So a little bit additional thing is that we don't have a great key store generation tool inside Unreal. There was before 4.25, as long as I remember, but maybe not super reliable right now. So we would recommend to use the tool from Android Studio. Yeah. Under Android Studio, under JRE, under bin. It might change in the newer version Android Studio. That is where it is right now in Android Studio 4.0. Yeah. And that's the APK and OBB part.
There it is, yeah.
To expand it. So yeah, if we have like a smaller than 1 GB project, we can just check the package game data inside APK. Otherwise, it will always try to generate an OBB file. Sometimes it's not necessary. But if it is larger than 1 GB, then don't check that box and check the allow large OBB files instead. So if we don't check it, the limit will be 2 GB, but for Meta, the limitation, we can have up to 4 GB. So we can check that. If you have a project even larger than 4 GB, remember to check allow patch OBB file. Yeah. Store version, that version need to be different for each build, but it doesn't need to be always larger. So if I can submit like version 100 today and submit the version 99 or 95 tomorrow, that would work. They just need to be different. And the version display is just really something for display.
And it can stay the same. You don't have to change it every time.
Yeah. Now, prepare for distribution. We also have to remember to add this into our default engine INI.
In the config folder. Yeah.
Enable has to be true, and Oculus ID and app, so Rift app ID. You actually only need one usually. You just need Oculus app ID if you're submitting to Meta Store. If it's a PC VR app, you use Rift app ID. And now we finally go to the place we can upload. One place is a MetaQuest Developer Hub. It will only work if you only have APK. So if your project is larger than 1 GB, you cannot use it basically. But it is really useful. You just go to there is a good upload button here.
You can also just like drag it in. It's a drag and drop interface.
It will also create another interface for you to do the same thing. You will see this window. It will check the 4 things: app signing, app version, application manifest, etc. And then you drag your APK there and go next. It would upload for you.
Yeah, usually those settings, once you've got them correct, you don't have to touch them. The OBB file typically will be a thing that you need to keep changing because it won't automatically notice that you've incremented to a new one, because the APK will stay the same name. The OBB file does not.
If they're in the same folder directory, it will, you don't even need to look for them again. Another tool is a command line tool, and that is actually the most comprehensive tool. You can use it to upload APK or APK plus OBB, and even for patch OBB. That is kind of the only place you can do that. So we do recommend to use it. And the place to get it, you can get it in just like online and search and download it, or you can get it from MetaQuest Developer Hub. And once you download it, press open, it will move you to the folder location of that CLI tool. I don't know if it's like straightforward to everyone here, but for me, I thought I need to double click it, and of course not. You have to right click in the folder and do open in terminal.
Obviously.
So that's that, and you can find all the thing you need to type in there, but this is just like an example. You do like dot and slash and OVR platform utility, and you want to upload a Quest build or a Rift build. There's like age group, and you have to like put in your app ID and app secret there. That is also like if you're only pushing MQDH, you actually never need to touch your app secret. But if you're using CLI, you need to use app secret. And like put your APK directory there, not directory, like your AP directly plus the APK name, because some things are different. We're going to touch it later. Some of the things you need to put the directory, so you cannot give it the file name. And also if you have an OBB, put it there, and remember that's what Alex mentioned, like the version is always going to be different. So we always have to change this part. Give it a channel name, give it a nose, and remember there can be no space in the nose. If there's a space, they will think it is like a new command, and it will fail.
I think usually putting it in quotes would still be okay, but it's like one other thing to think about.
Or you need to put it in quotes. It's just like a thing I usually hit.
Right.
And the third place you can do is inside Unreal. You will have this interface. It will call Meta XR Platform Tool. Usually it's like somewhere, I didn't screenshot that thing, but it's somewhere on top. You can find it.
And you need the plugin enabled, of course, for this to show up.
It's kind of like a CLI, but it's like in a wrapped way with good interface, and I sometimes have issue upload OBB with it. It might change in the later version, but I'm still a little bit traumatized by it. I just always use CLI for OBB, but it might work. At least APK definitely works. OBB, not so sure. Some additional information. Oh, and that thing messed up. So patch OBB. So because I didn't really find a lot of information about how to upload patch OBB, and it was troubling me for a while, and I finally found that because so we have to add 2 things there. They are just like patch OBB is just like considered as additional files, additional assets. So you have to add these 2 more lines here. SS directory. This is the thing that it has to be a directory. It cannot be. So I was like also like pointed to my patch OBB file names, and it doesn't like it. I cannot do that. It has to be a directory. And you also have to put in a JSON file. It's called like expansion files config. It has to be that name, I believe. And it has to be in a UTF-8 code version. And Unreal doesn't generate that for you. So you have to generate it for yourself. And that is what you have to put inside the content. And it depends on your supported devices. You can change it here. I usually just use ChatGPT to generate for me in the correct file. Maybe I did something wrong, but I cannot generate the correct file from like text or notepad, even they have like the UTF-8 JSON format. That's not true for some reason. But that's the way you can upload patch OBB. And then if you want to use any platform features, remember to check data use checkout. Like if you want to get the Oculus user ID inside, remember to submit those before trying to use any platform feature. So like share spatial anchor, user info, avatar, those kind of things, that is mandatory. When you're downloading the share spatial anchor Unreal simple project, you also have to do that. Like otherwise it will just not work. And when I was testing it, it was not in any kind of documentation, as if you should have known. Maybe I should have.
Here is the documentation.
Yeah. Oops.
Can we keep going? There we go. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Is that
and then
the last page?
That was the last page. Yes. Great.